Hello YouTube, you're watching Drone Dude, and today we are going to be talking about the newly announced DJI Phantom 4. So guys, in this video I'll be giving you guys a brief description of a lot of the different and really cool features that the Phantom 4 has. Also talking about some of the similarities to the previous Phantom 3, but I will be doing a separate Phantom 3 versus Phantom 4 video in the future when I get the Phantom 4. But I'm going to give you guys a quick disclaimer. There's not going to be too much new information in this video. But I really hope you guys enjoy watching this, and let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and talk about the most important part of this new flying machine, and that is the camera. Now the camera is actually not too much different from what we've seen before. It still shoots 12 megapixel stills and still shoots 4K video at 30 frames per second. But they did make an improvement on the 1080 side of things. Now you can shoot slow motion video at 1080 at 120 frames per second, so that's similar to what the GoPro Hero Black 4 can do. So that's going to be nice for really slow shots if you're getting action shots or something like that. Now if you're looking from a photographer's point of view, you can still adjust the shutter speed from 8 seconds to 1/8,000th of a second, so you can really get a high shutter speed again with the Phantom 4. And then obviously the exposure is also adjustable in the manual mode. So when you get your Phantom 4, they're going to include all the same accessories that you would expect, except for a few things that are different. I noticed they have a very different gimbal clamp. It appears to actually clamp onto the legs of the Phantom 4 and then go over the camera rather than actually hanging onto the camera gimbal area there, because the Phantom 4 doesn't actually have a separate unit there for the camera and gimbal. The gimbal is simply integrated right onto the frame. Also, from the pictures, it appears the Phantom comes in maybe a hard foam case of some kind, something that you can actually use. It's maybe not going to be ideal for air travel or something like that, but it seems quite compact, and it's a nice thing to include, so you don't have to worry about getting an accessory case for your Phantom if you're just doing basic travel. So a few of just the very basic actual technical specs of the new model. Phantom 4 is going to be 3 pounds around there, and then also the max speed is up to 45 miles an hour in a new mode that are calling Sport Mode. And then also battery life. We're going to be looking at 28 minutes of flight time, which is not a huge improvement over the previous Phantom, which was 23 minutes of flight time. But that should give us a good bit of extra time to get those shots. It really doesn't take much time to get various shots that you want to get, so those extra few minutes there are really going to help out. But of course, the biggest feature that everybody is really talking about and interested in is the obstacle avoidance feature on the new Phantom 4. Yes, it has the ability to dodge or stop in front of obstacles that may be in its way. Now, obviously when we get it, we'll be testing how accurate that actually is. Hopefully it doesn't end up in the loss of our Phantom. People are probably thinking, oh, well now that's great, that's going to prevent wrecks and things. Well, somewhat that's true, but also it's not going to completely eliminate all of the crashes and various things that DJI has been known for in the past. Previously, with the Phantom 3 obviously didn't have any obstacle avoidance features, and people would crash them into things. Now, one thing I pretty much noticed is they only really have the sensors on the front of the Phantom 4 and on the bottom of the Phantom 4. And so that means you don't really have any upwards protection or backwards protection from objects. So you're going to have to be still careful about your positioning. And if you're trying to do a backward shot, you really got to know what's behind you. Now, if they do something else, come out with some kind of other sensor that prevents or allows you to fly backwards without having to worry, that would be cool. And they might be thinking about something like that for an Inspire 2, if they do come out with an Inspire 2 very soon. We'll see. Also, the DJI released what they call Tap and Go. Basically, you're going to be able to see the screen, watching what your Phantom is seeing, and then tap the screen and say, I want the Phantom to go in that direction, and the Phantom will actually fly in that direction without any input on the stick, so that makes it nice and easy to fly. It kind of makes me wonder what kind of if this market will be heading more towards the beginners than it was even before. Obviously the Phantoms have been always very easy to fly, but there's so many newbies out there who get a hold of them and don't know how to fly aircraft at all, and I've always recommended that people get something small, cheap, durable to learn on first before they go spend $1,000 on a multi-rotor. But we're kind of moving in the direction where it's idiot-proof, so hopefully This is a step in that direction, and I don't think it's completely idiot-proof yet because it doesn't have obstacle avoidance all around it from what I've seen. So from the videos, the application looks very similar to the standard application we all know and love, the DJI Go app, and it looks like it has mostly the same format and same features. It doesn't look like it still uses the intelligent waypoints thing where you go and you fly the route with your Phantom and it flies the waypoints. However, there are plenty of apps, as you know, that are use autonomous features, so you can actually plot your map and fly the map with the Phantom autonomously. So those features should still be there. It still uses the SDK, so there will be still developers out there making apps for the Phantom 4 when it comes out. Possibly the coolest feature, though, that we've all been seeing is the optical tracking feature with the Phantom 4. What the Phantom 4 has is the ability to actually, you're able to select an object in the map or on your screen, on your Apple device or whatever you're using, and it will select that image of, let's say, a person, and that person can be walking or maybe you're tracking a car, and the drone will actually track that object simply by visuals. It doesn't have to have any GPS tracking aid or anything like that. You don't need a watch or anything. It literally tracks it with its own vision. Now, this will also be another interesting thing to see how well it works. I was noticing in some videos people were testing it out, and if you walk quickly off the frame, it loses sight of you, and obviously when it loses sight of you, it just stops tracking, which is really cool. So basically it's not going to go anywhere you don't want it to. So let's talk about the new controller, or well, not so new controller for the Phantom 4. Looks exactly the same as this, except for very small details. Instead of having a play button on the side here, it actually has a pause button, and it doesn't take you to the photos that you've taken, but it actually simply pauses the Phantom wherever it's flying. So if you get freaked out, you simply click that and it will pause the Phantom, which is kind of handy, kind of a fail-safe, nice to have. And then also they are replacing the A mode on the right side of the transmitter with an S mode for sport mode for fast flying. And that's really the real major differences between this remote and the new remote, except for the ability to have a much greater range without modification. So if you've taken a close look at the bottom of the Phantom 4, you'll see the same optical sensors that the Phantom 3 has. However, they do actually look larger on the Phantom 4, and so that should actually improve the flight stabilization at lower altitudes. So I'm really hoping for an extremely precise precision GPS hold with this model. And as we saw, or as they said in one of their videos, the new Phantom can acquire up to 36 satellites, which I doubt you'll get on a normal day, but that is a lot of satellites, and that will yet again transfer over to a very accurate GPS hover. So we're still going to be seeing the same return to home feature that we all know and love from the Phantom. However, supposedly the Phantom will be able to avoid objects on its way back to you. So let's say your return to home altitude is not set high enough and there's a tree in the way. I'm hoping it will stop in front of that tree and rise up and go over top of it and come back and land right in front of you or wherever you took off. So that would be a nice feature to have as well. So guys, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will have videos out as soon as I get the Phantom 4. I'll be interested to see what the box is like and what unboxing is, and then make a comparison to the Phantom 3, do an actual detailed video on that, and then finally make a extensive full review like I have for my DJI aircraft in the past. So anyway guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. If you didn't and you have questions, ask in the comments and I'll do my best to answer your questions. But anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.